Welcome to Bible in the Backyard. Here we are in the wilderness of our backyard in Jamaica Estates, Queens, with a waning fire as we close up the book of Numbers. Numbers chapter 36. We are closing a book of sort of large-scale drama, of intense narratives, of stories of sin and punishment, of rebellion, of failed leadership, really a rich book. And we ended in what seems to be a pretty anticlimactic note or narrative that doesn't seem to fit all that appropriately. We are told, as we know from several chapters earlier in chapter 27, when the daughters of Tzlafchad requested that they inherit land when their father died, and they're given that request. What we have in this chapter is kind of a continuum of that, where members of the tribe, the male members of the tribe, come to Moshe and they complain and they say, if the women of our tribe marry out, then ultimately that land will go to the tribe of those to whom they married, and it'll be lost from our clan and from our family and from our tribe. To which Moshe responds, actually, you have a pretty legitimate claim. And the law has decreed that any heiress, any woman who stands to inherit land from her father, actually subsequently must marry somebody from her tribe, which is difficult for all sorts of reasons, but kind of leaving aside the larger question of content, there's the question of context, which I think is the most striking here. Here we are closing up this very dramatic book. Why do we close it with this law, with this narrative? It more appropriately fits in chapter 27 after the first 10, 11 psukim, after the first verses there, as a continuation of that story, and yet we have it just about 10 chapters later as the culminating narrative in this book of grand drama. So you have any offerings about the context?
Just one, and that's that the shift from 27 to 36 is the shift from the concerns about familial inheritance, who's going to get Tzlafchad's land, to tribal inheritance. Right now, the tribe is worried, okay, that works within that family, but it doesn't work within our tribe. And I think that does reorient us at the end of this book to focus again on the importance of tribes. So 27 was actually very nice, right? It was nice for us to hear that there's concern for the family, concern for the individuals, that they want the land and they deserve it. And as we talked about, God is firmly on their side. 36 makes us realize that that might be true, but there's also a tribal reality here. And as we're about to close the book of Numbers, get ready to go into the land of Israel, that tribal reality looms very large, actually larger in a societal sense than the familial reality. So we might actually trample on the rights of individuals sometimes, right? We're actually barring them from marrying the loves of their lives, potentially, although I suspect that almost everyone married people within their tribes. But in theory, we're circumscribing their rights for the sake of the tribe. And I think at the close of the book, that is an important point, important reorientation, that it is going to be a tribal society. And as we enter the land, the rights of the tribes does have to be actually front and center.
Interesting. So we're really moving here, and we have this shift from the individual, from the family, to something larger, something bigger that they'll require and they'll need to structure and build societies.
Yeah, and that's I think that's every society has to grapple with that, right? We all treasure the rights of the individual, and we all know that when it comes down to it, that has to be balanced with the needs of society and actually the rights of society to function in certain ways. So every society makes different decisions on how to balance those things, and our society certainly comes down more on the side of the individual than on society. But I think that balance is something that is familiar to us, and the need to balance the rights of the daughters of Tzlafchad and the family with the tribe is something that the book does come to recenter at the end here.
As a representative of a much larger question than this particular legal point.
And I think the fire is dead, so we should probably wrap this up.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for these last chapters.
It was a pleasure.
We'll see you in Deuteronomy, maybe.